These are pepper plants that I planted in my inbloom hydroponic garden that I plan on planting in the garden. So we are going to repot them into regular pots today to start to get them ready to put outside. I have had some success with it. You can see right here. Here's a tomato plant I already did. Here's a different kind of pepper. You can see it's shorter, and that's because I just waited too long to do this. So let us go over to my kitchen. Actually, let's go outside. We're going to do it outside because it does get a little bit messy. So I'm just going to take this out of here and we're going to go outside. Here are my little pepper plants. Again, as you can see, the roots are starting to get long and grow. Ideally, I would have done this probably about a week ago, but here we are because I just didn't have time. The biggest thing you need to remember when you are repotting hydroponic garden plants into soil is that they are used to living in water. And so you need to make sure that they are getting a lot of water at first as they slowly adapt to their new environment. So the first thing I did, as you can see, is I just took the sticker off there, and then I am going to pull this out. Now this can be very painful because we are literally going to pick off this, I don't know, the foam or whatever it is off of here. We're trying to keep the roots intact as well as possible. Now they will grow new roots. Whoops, I just dropped that on the ground. But it's better to keep the roots as much intact as possible. As you can see, there is like very little science to it, and you can also see there are roots still on there that I've missed. And I'm going to pull it all the way down. See, I already ripped the big root. It's okay. My opinion is I only need one of these three to live. So as long as one of them is going to live, it's going to be good. I kind of just pick at it. And you saw those other plants that were growing. This is the exact same way I do it. They seem to be okay. The only plant that I had trouble with was the cucumbers. They did not enjoy it all. And you see here, I still have plenty of roots that are intact. All right, let me clean this up and I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, it's not perfect, but they are pretty well cleaned off right now. I'm just going to set them aside. The next thing you're going to need is, I like to put these in peat pots next so I don't have to transplant and transplant and transplant, because these will decompose when you put them into the dirt. So this is what I use, but you could just plant them in a plastic cup. What I do is I plant them in here and then stick them in here. I use this stuff right here, this Miracle-Gro water storing crystals. I will put an affiliate link to that on Amazon in the comments, because I use this for like all my gardening, even like in dirt, because it makes it so you don't have to water it as much. But what they are just these little crystals, if you haven't seen them, that look like this. And then they absorb water, and so as the dirt starts to dry out, they absorb the water from the crystals, so it keeps them moist longer. Now I have 3 pepper plants. I'm going to put like 1/4 teaspoon of this in here. Hold on one sec. Just like this much. It does not take much. I've had this bag right here for a really long time. I'm just throwing a few in here. You can see that's probably way too much. A few in there. And then lastly, a few in there, because I do have 3 pots. All right, and so then I've got those in there about an equal amount. That one has way more than the others, so I'll even it out. Actually, that one probably has too many. I'm going to take those out and put them back in the bag. Now, I'm not sure how much you know about plants, but these right here are the first leaves, but these are the true leaves. So these probably will end up coming off and dying anyways. These don't really matter, but the next step is going to be to put some dirt in all the pots. So let me do that quick. You can see I did not fill up these at all, and that's because now I'm going to shake them up so that those water storing crystals kind of get mixed up in the dirt, and then they are mixed in well. I'm just going to put a little hole in there. I don't want it to go all the way to the bottom, but close to the bottom, and then I'm going to stick my little pepper in there. And then I'm going to push it in and put dirt around it. Oh, my dog wants to go in. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That dog just wants to go in when she wants to go in, and she would have just annoyed us. So you can see I've got it in there. And then this is kind of awkward with my camera angle, but I'm just going to manipulate it in there until I've got the pot pretty much filled. Now I want to leave just a little bit at the top because, look, this is old roots. By the way, this is not even new potting soil. This is potting soil I used from last year. I just reuse it, and then as I'm watering the plants, I water it with fertilizer, and that's how I keep it fertilized until it gets into the regular dirt with peat moss and everything. Okay, so then that's ready. And then what I do is I'm going to water it because I do need to water it in. And I worry because this will decompose, that it might go through, especially because we are over watering at first. I just stick it in here. I will show you where I keep them inside. All right, here they are. 1, 2, 3 pepper plants. I have watered them all. That is why it looks like there's so much standing water. Like I said, these came from a hydroponic life, so I'm trying to keep the environment as close to what they had as possible. Here are those cucumbers I told you that didn't do real well. Maybe they're going to survive because this leaf in the back doesn't look terrible, but we'll see. If not, I'll just seed some directly in the ground. And then these are the tomatoes I did 2 weeks ago. Look how leggy they are. That is totally my fault. I didn't have a good enough grow light. I've now gotten one. Look at that right there. That's a little grow light. I love it. Got it on Amazon. I think instead of just putting links in the bio, I'll put a link. I'll make an idea list. And then if you want to check out what I've used, it'll be on my Amazon storefront. It's an affiliate link. But I'll show you all the different things I used to do this project to be able to transplant seeds that you grew in your hydroponic garden. This makes it so much more easier for me because it's easy. I can start it whenever I want, and I'm so far having really good results. And when I say really good results, I started this in my hydroponic garden. It is now outside hardening off so I can plant it in the ground, and it is doing great. It is a Tiny Tim tomato plant, so I can have some cherry tomatoes this summer. So yeah, if you're interested in following me on my hydroponic journey, please subscribe. And if you have any tips on how to pot plants from your hydroponic garden into dirt, I would love to hear them in the comments below.